Hey guys, welcome to this video. So in this video I'll be reviewing a book, a very famous book, and it's called Our Mathematical Universe by Max Tegmark. My quest for the ultimate nature of reality. So first of all, I have been very busy with the writing of my second book, the updated edition of Our Physics so far, which is why uh, I have not been active on YouTube for a lot of days. So for which I apologize. And I'll be sharing some updates about my book near the end of my video. But first, let's get on with this review. So I've been reading a lot of books for the research in writing the updated edition. So I came across this book and I thought, all right, let's check this out because it sounded interesting. So this book is overall it's a good book, but there are two things which I don't like about this book, and that is number one, the author speaks too much about the multiverse. Like our mathematical universe. The book name is Our Mathematical Universe, but only a little portion of it is devoted to the mathematical universe hypothesis. That's Tegmark's hypothesis. Most of it is talking about multiverses, cosmology, and quantum physics. So I think the titling of the book is not appropriate, and even but that's not a serious problem because yeah, but the thing is that you know what I mean. This multiverse is whatever you say. Multiverse is not a testable hypothesis, and it is not a good scientific theory. Like it's obvious if you think fundamentally, it's obvious. Like every possibility should manifest itself. So why should there be one universe? There should be many universes, and his arguments are solid. Like his arguments like about about Everett's many world interpretation and how he made the quantum suicide thought experiment, the quantum immortality thought experiment. It makes sense, and it seems to me that the multiverse theory, the many worlds interpretation, can solve a lot of problems. But it's at times annoying that you're always shifting to the multiverse view and with annoying references to the multiverse, and that's it. Because the multiverse is only one possibility. You shouldn't just write a book about physics which focuses solely on multiverse. Next thing is that although the cosmology is very well described, there is some technical content as well, like precision cosmology, and it starts from the basic level of humankind's journey to understanding the cosmos, and it's a good one. The writing is good in general, but the mathematical universe hypothesis, which is near the end of the book, the mathematical universe hypothesis, there are a lot of serious problems with this hypothesis. So if you want to check this out, I'm not saying don't buy this book, because it might be an interesting idea to check this out. It might be a good idea to check out this hypothesis, because it is a speculative, provocative, and interesting idea. So the idea basically is that our reality is, so the first question which arises is that why can our reality be so beautifully described by mathematics? Why is mathematics so useful in describing the reality? So this question can be answered in, there are a lot of proposals, but according to Tegmark, our universe is not only described by mathematics, rather our universe is mathematics, is a mathematical structure. So what do you mean by mathematical structure? Is a set of entities, a set of abstract entities, basic entities, which has no intrinsic properties, and which are defined by the relation between them. So we live in a relational reality. The reality emerges from the relation between the units, not from the units themselves, because the units have no intrinsic properties. So this is the kind of argument, and at first glance it seemed to me that this is kind of similar to emergence, like the reality emerges from the interaction, like consciousness emerges from the interaction between the parts of the brain and that sort of thing. But when I thought about it deeply, you see, there are a lot of problems with this hypothesis. Our universe, it might seem appealing to think that way, that our universe is a mathematical structure, but this hypothesis is not at all testable, and he makes some claims of like we can find you like more general mathematical rules through the study of physics. This is one of his claims, but the thing is that this claim is too general, and you cannot, this is not a testable prediction. In my opinion, this is not a valid, concrete, testable evidence. So my advice to you would be, read the book if you want a new perspective on physics, because he challenges the very fundamental notion of physics, and he gives his own definition, but he goes a bit too far somewhere, Max Tegmark, like consciousness, information, but some parts of it seem reasonable. But on the whole, if you if you would like an interesting read, you can obviously go forward with this book. But I would say take everything that's mentioned in it, like not the first few chapters. The first chapters are about quantum physics and cosmology, so those are all precise information. But the last few chapters, take everything with a grain of salt, with a pinch of salt. That's my advice to you. So I don't find the argument very convincing for a lot of reasons, and I will probably drop a video about in more detail discussing the mathematical universe hypothesis. But in all, I would give this book like about 3.5 out of 5. 3.5 stars out of 5 stars. About 3.5, yeah. I may even venture to say 4, but for now I'd keep it at 3.5. So, and now about the updates about my second book, the updated edition of my book, Our Physics So Far. Okay, so just a second. Yeah, all right. So I've been just one. I've dropped a blog on my website arpanday.net. You can check it out. Like the title of the blog is "What's the deal with the updated edition of Our Physics So Far?" So there I have just a 2 paragraph blog, just a 2 minute read or 3 minute read, something like that. And there I've like in short described why am I launching the updated edition of the book and why am I writing it and what are the main features, what are the salient features and everything. So if you have read the first book, Our Physics So Far, the original edition of the book, Our Physics So Far, you'll see that it the flow of the book, number one, there are some few points. Number one, the flow of the book is not coherent at times. Like some concepts should be explained before, some concepts should be explained after, this kind of thing. So that problem has been fixed in this updated edition. The flow is, I won't say seamless, but the flow is much better, much more coherent. Next is that in this book I've tried to keep the argument as scientific as possible. Like I've in the original edition there were some metaphysical arguments which were likely not to be true. Like they're not backed up by evidence, at least. So I have tried to remove all such kinds of speculations and everything from the second edition of the book. And although I have mentioned all the possibilities, even the philosophical one and everything, but I have only focused on those. I've discussed in more detail those possibilities which are scientific and backed up by evidence. That's one point. Next, so that's the main thing. I've tried to keep the book as scientific as possible. The information is more precise, more accurate, and presented in a better way. So if you have not read the updated edition of the book, and if you have not read the original edition of the book, then I would recommend you to buy the updated edition, not the original edition, because the updated edition is in many ways a better book. But if you have read the original edition, then you will not learn anything entirely new from the updated edition. But still, there are some new arguments, there are some new updates about physics, some recent developments in physics, and even in consciousness research and stuff like that. There are some new perspectives on free will and everything. So you can check it out. If you have read the original book, you can check it out, because this book will definitely be better than the original book. So when will I be releasing the book? In Durga Puja. That's for those of you who do not live in India, you will not understand the meaning of Durga Puja. So it's a festival we celebrate in India. So I'll be releasing the book in October, October to 2022, like this year October, like about 3 months time. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. And if you have any questions, anything, comments, everything, you can just comment below. And so thank you very much, and I'll keep you updated. Thank you.